What is your name? Look at me.
Jill Stewart. I'm the Executive Director of the Coalition to Preserve LA.
Hi, Jill. And today, why are you out here today? What's going on today?
Well, we're trying to save about 18 heritage trees. They're old, beautiful, gorgeous trees that form a tree canopy. It's like a tunnel of green here. They've been growing for years. They provide incredible shade to this neighborhood. And when they cut them down, which the city plans to do this weekend, this area is going to turn into a baking hot oven with 30-degree temperature rise just on the sidewalks alone. And they're just going to chop them down and ruin. It's going to take about 30 years to return the shade to this working class neighborhood.
Who is that going to affect? What is that going to do? Okay, they chop the trees down. It gets a little bit more light in here. What's the problem?
What you're talking about is probably a lot of heat exhaustion diseases. Old and young people will be sicker. You might have some heat wave death. In fact, Los Angeles is seeing really big spikes in people dying from heat waves. We're having heat waves right now. And in fact, on KNX radio this weekend, they were talking about how Los Angeles is now the only city in the United States where people are dying from heat waves during the winter now. So it's getting hotter and hotter. And one of the only ways that's known for controlling that is to basically add more and more shade to these big cities that are getting too hot, too many buildings, too much pavement. The only way to fight it is with trees. And LA is really, really, really tearing down and chopping its trees. They're going the wrong direction, and they're out of their minds.
What would be your suggestion to the city? How could they alleviate the problem? First of all, what is their problem? What is the problem with the trees to begin with? Why do they want to cut them down?
The problem is that most cities, when they have this problem where the sidewalks are cracked and broken by the tree roots, the cities that are really modern, and it's called sustainability, what they do is they go in and they have these really interesting ways of fixing the sidewalks, modern, innovative ways of fixing the sidewalks and keeping the trees. Los Angeles is stuck in the 1980s. They're not a sustainable city. They claim to be, but it's really it's a kind of a slogan. It's not real, and they just go in and they chop them down. They're stuck in a cycle, and they can't snap out of it. And we've been trying, and the environmental groups have been trying. A lot of groups have been begging them to wake up, and we can't get them to wake up. There's a bunch of guys in City Hall who are stuck in the old ways, and we're trying to wake them up now. A bunch of people are suing, and we're holding actions, and we're holding press conferences, and we're trying to tell people, get City Hall awake. Call your city councilman, call the mayor, the Board of Public Works. Most people have never heard of them. They're stuck in the mud on this issue. They're in the wrong decade. They're old school. They need to wake up. We're all gonna bake if they keep this up.
Okay, Steve, tell me, what do you think about the fact that the city's going to come out here and chop down these nice shade trees?
Well, they are beautiful trees, and they've been here a long, long time, but I kind of see both sides of the story. People trip over sidewalks, and it kind of causes a hazard, especially in the dark. So it'd be unfortunate to see them all go. I don't know if there's an alternative solution. But.
So that was going to be my next question. Do you have a solution? What would be your idea of like
replace
the
them with
balance?
full-grown shade trees that don't tear up the sidewalk, but that ain't gonna happen.
How many years have you lived here?
I've been here 10. My partner's been here for almost 30.
Okay. Do you know anybody who has been injured by the breaking up of the sidewalks?
Injured? Not personally, no. We've tripped over them ourselves, but we sort of bounced back up from it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. My name's Jackie Serber. Angelinos for Trees is our new organization that we have created so that we can begin to save the trees in Los Angeles and urge the city to regrow its canopy. Los Angeles is killing its beautiful, life-giving shade tree canopy, crucial to our survival in the new era of heat waves. Every time we cut down trees, we increase the heat island effect. That means that the sun heats up the sidewalks, the streets, and the buildings and holds on to that heat throughout the night, increasing temperatures 20 degrees or more in the night times compared with surrounding wild areas. Now, Los Angeles is known as the only city in the United States where people are actually dying in heat waves in the winter. So we really just want to urge the city to see how important it is to save these trees. We've brought infrared thermometers out here, and the difference from being under the shade to out in the sun is about 30-degree difference. So on a day when it's 115 degrees, you can be in 85 degrees in the shade. So it's just so important that we save these trees. And I really want to thank everyone who came out here today. There's so many amazing Coalition to Preserve LAs here. Maybe there's some other organizations that would like to speak for a moment.
My name is Jill Stewart, and I wanted to show everybody the plan from the city of Seattle for avoiding tearing down heritage trees, rare trees, huge shade trees. Los Angeles, their answer is chop them down. In Seattle and leadership cities like Austin, Portland, Sacramento, they're about 10 years ahead of Los Angeles. You can see how thick that report is. It's 86 pages. It gives the answers for every single major tree, and when the roots pop up like they are in this neighborhood, how do they go around and save the tree? Los Angeles does not have a report like this. There is no plan. They chop down all the trees. We're in the wrong decade. Our urban forestry department is from the 1980s, and the city council and a group that most people have never heard of called the Board of Public Works is from the wrong decade, and the mayor is not catching up. We're not sustainable. We say we are, but we're not. So we are trying to put pressure on the right people in City Hall. We hope the media will listen to this message. We are not sustainable. Our heat waves are getting worse and worse. As Jackie said, we have people dying in the winter. We're the only city in the United States where people die in the winter. But even as important, we're losing our beauty. We're losing what makes neighborhoods livable. We're losing our shade. We just spoke to a lovely woman in this building right here named Tatiana. She and her husband sit in the floor up here, third floor, and sit out and look at their neighborhood and talk about how beautiful it is. She practically started crying when we told her they're going to chop down all 18 of these incredible trees. So we're here to say, City Hall, get out of the 1980s, get with it, stop chopping down the trees, figure it out. 20 other cities are a decade ahead of us. Get with it.